Nice little hold in the overall market in here today, going in on a shortened week. We had quad witching, triple witching, whatever you want to call it. I get it. But still shortened week in here. And it looked like nobody really wanted to sell it off. Nice little pop as we went into open this morning. Spies were about 748, a little bit of a sell off in there. Held sway basically the whole day, little lulls and peaks and valleys here and there. Not a whole lot to really worry about though. And then towards the end of the day, that nice little run up because it looked like we were selling off, and then that big, huge run up right into close. And no other stock really benefited more from that than SpaceX right here. So we're going to look at SpaceX. We had that run about 179 to about 188 in here in about 20 minutes or so into close. Obviously, a little bit of a pullback. We're sitting at 185 right now. Really, what you have in your overall markets for your options that is in SpaceX is everything's call skew, right? So all the calls are trading richer because that's where your risk is to the upside. So the higher the stock goes, really, that's where all your volatility is going to come in, right? The lower it goes, you're not really getting a whole lot of volatility because your risk is to the upside. That's where everybody, the markets are juiced. Obviously, retail traders are coming out and buying this thing up. If you look at your options chain just in general, pick a strike, pick an expiration anywhere. Even if you go all the way out to next year, it's super liquid in here. Your markets are perfect. Everything, you're not going to get ripped off. You're not going to, everything's super liquid. There's no slippage really anywhere. So everything is to the calls in here, which means calls are more expensive, puts are cheaper, but your put spreads are going to be trading for more rather than your calls because of that. So keep that in mind. And also, your volatility is going to expand the more this thing kind of keeps on rising up. But we are coming down. So volatility is starting to contract. The premium is reversing. So you got to have that mean reversion in your implied volatility. But overall, we have to figure out where the mean is compared to itself and then what is high compared to itself in here for the volatility. So on the weekly chart in here in SpaceX, you can see that we have two candles. Obviously, not a whole lot to work with. And actually, these are two weekly candles, and yet we still don't have a full week of data to go by. So this candle right here was just last Friday. This right here is a shortened week. But you can see we're kind of all over the place. So as we come back down to life in here, we're going to figure out where everything is starting to be priced in at. We're going to see if the retail traders finally just kind of give up in here. But I think that this has enough hype and PR around it. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. If worst case, we're going to be back down in those 150s, 160s. I don't think we're going to go any lower than that. It's going to take a big, strong move. I think people are going to be in here and still try to scalp their life away the best they can in here on any move they get. But your IV rank in here, obviously, we don't know, right? It's just 100% IV. We have no clue in here. Expected move is being priced in at about $19 right now by next Friday. Obviously, that we know it's way bigger than that. Same with if you go all the way out to your July monthlies, it's $34. We know it's way bigger than that. We know that we're going to get listed in here and on the NASDAQ in here soon. So crazy moves in here are going to happen for sure, especially if it kind of repeats what it did today, where you had that big pullback and then kind of nothing, just kind of fighting for its life. And then boom, all of a sudden, towards the end of the day, we get that pop at the end of the market. So the market actually closes more or less where it opened, but SpaceX just through the roof right there at the end of the day. Still ending red, obviously, from where it closed last night, but overall a nice decent move in there into close, just showing you the power that once this thing gets any movement behind it, it can go. So what are we looking at in here on this weekly chart? We're watching 193, we're watching 176, 200 cycle level up here. We're looking at these highs, 225 to the downside, 168, 160, then 150. So not really a whole lot to worry about in there, or work with, I guess. As far as technical analysis, more or less, we are watching our implied volatility. Now we're going to talk about some Chinese stocks in here. We usually kind of look at all these three kind of at the same time because they usually sort of follow each other in here. So red week in here and a red day for JD. We're trading below 28. You can see that we breached this key level right here of about that 28.21 level in there. That was a key spot for us to hold. Obviously, we broke that and breached it. And it looks like we're going to get a confirm of a breach this week, or I guess starting next week's candle. So going forward, we're looking at 26.72 to the downside. Then we're looking at that $25 level to the upside in here. 9-day EMA trading about 29 bucks to the outside. We have this 50-day SMA creeping right here. You can see that was a harsh resistance for us here just 3 or 4 weeks ago. That is going to be a spot that we're going to have trouble with. That's at $30 level. We're also going to look at PDD in here. This is yet again another stock that usually trades with JD and then all these other Chinese stocks to the downside in here. You can see we're kind of sitting right on this lower trend line. We did not breach it also, but we did not really help ourselves out. We're kind of getting in our own way in here, it looks like, this past week. So going forward, $80, that is going to be the key level for us in here going forward. You got about a $3 expected move being priced in by your option traders in this underlying by next Friday. We're going to see if we can creep back above 80. Then we're looking at 85, 88, 92, and 95 to the upside. If you want to kind of cut all that in half, just look at 80, look at your 88s right here, and then worry about that $93 level, or I guess that 92.57 area right in here. That is going to be where that upper trend line is going to end up in next week's candle. So that's going to be a spot for us to kind of watch out. But again, $3 expected move by next Friday, the following about $4. Last but not least, we're going to look at probably the biggest out of all these three stocks. That's going to be BABA. You can see that really haven't really helped ourselves out in here. Can't get past that 50-day moving average. I mean, ever since March, we had that big pullback in here, that nice big run up to those 180s. Thought we were going to be back in those 200s. Obviously, no. Down below that 50-day SMA and just banging our head up against it. Can't get out of our own way. Down in here about 7 red candles in a row or so. And now we're trading down here at the bottom of this overall structure. So we're going to see if we are going to gap down or gap up going into next week. That's going to be key for us because we also have this 200 SMA in here as well. So key trend line of support. We also have a 200 SMA kind of all lining up right in that same area, that 103, 105 mark. That is going to be key for us to hold. If not, anything below, nice big hold numbers. We'll look at 100, we'll look at 90, we'll look at 80, etc. But if we can get a nice little pop in here, which we are due, our RSI is kind of getting oversold in here for us. If we can get a nice little reversal, then to the upside in here, we're going to be looking at that 111, 117s, and then the 122s is what we have for BABA in here. As far as your applied volatility goes, in here, obviously, a lot of it came in today. We have IV rank in here sitting about 26, $4 expected move by this coming Friday, next Friday, right around $6 expected move. You go all the way out to July, about a $7 expected move being priced in by this underlying. So again, kind of 3 stocks doing the same thing, and then SpaceX, who knows, we just hang on for the ride, right? So you're looking at 3 stocks that more or less trade kind of in the with the same correlation, pull back in here, volatility, looking for a turn, trying to find some footing, and yet you have SpaceX trading on its own, just doing who knows what, basing it all straight off strictly implied volatility. So on the one hand, you have 3 stocks, volatility is up. We're looking for some movement to go with that. On the other hand, one stock is just full of volatility, and yet we have no idea what's going to happen in that. And the more it comes down, the more the volatility is going to contract. So let's see what happens in here as we open up next week. Everybody enjoy your nice 3-day weekend in here. We'll see what happens as we open up next week. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.